Settings right and that the microphone's working. I hope I can remember everything without messing up. I hope I don't have lipstick on my teeth and that I look okay on the camera. Oh well, here it goes. You can't depend on your judgment when your imagination's out of focus. Mark Twain said that, and boy was he right. I was just letting my imagination get out of focus at the start of this video. I, of course, was doing it on purpose, but I do that often, and I think many of us do. We let our thoughts get random. We let ourselves worry and fret, and we lose focus. And when we do that, when we let our imagination get out of focus, we're not as clear, we're not as effective, we're not as influential. So that's why I think Twain's quote is so good, because we aren't in our best judgment when we're fretting and worrying. So I'd like to illustrate on this video some things that I believe are helping me do a better job of focusing. And I want to share an example of why letting our imagination get out of focus is and can be so important to our own success and our own wake up eager days. So the analogy that I refer to is, I see it every time I see the Verizon Wireless commercials. You know, the Verizon Wireless team. Well, they're always focused on that person, the person they're following. They're always focused on that person's connection. That's all they care about. And so they follow that person around and make sure that they get through on their cell phone. Well, I believe that we each have our own Verizon Wireless team, except I'll call it our universal dream team. And it's universal energy, it's universal resources, and it's powerful and strong. And these resources are being lined up on our behalf. I say that we have these dreams, we have these desires, we have the things that we want, and this universal dream team is gathered all around them. They're hearing all our requests, everything we've asked for, and they're lining up the resources for us so that we can wake up eager and be joyful, and so that our pathways are easier, so that we meet the right people at the right time, we make the right connections, and we live a joyful, eager life. But when we fret and worry, we tear ourselves away from the dream team. Now, our dreams are still there. Our dream team's there. We've just separated ourselves from it. This is the best visual that I can gather to support my understanding of the resources that are available to us. And what I understand is that our universal dream team is gathered around our dreams, gathered around all the resources. Let's see if I can get it to go back together. You know it's supposed to go together. Gathered around us to help us get what we want. And so our job is to align our mind and our focus with our dreams and with this dream team. So that's why I like Twain's quote so much. You can't depend on your judgment when your imagination's out of focus. And so I don't believe he's saying we shouldn't ever worry or fret, because we're going to. We're human. We live in a fast-paced world and place, and a lot of things are going on around us. But I do believe that there's things we can do to focus more, to align more, to move our mood, our focus, and our energy closer to universal resources, which is positive and in high joy and appreciation. So it's our job to move towards that place. And so there are two tools that I've been using over the years that I use every day and that are really helping me wake up eager more often. So I want to share those with you. The tools are really simple. There's something that really, if you do them once, you probably might notice a little bit of positive out of it, but it's really a long-term focus where you're changing your thoughts and your general energy around subjects, and so you have to use them and do them more often or on a regular basis for them to make a difference. But I do know that every time I use these tools, I feel better. And then when I start feeling better, I feel relief, I feel more joy, and in that place, I get ideas, insight, inspiration. So in my analogy, it means as I move up the scale out of something maybe more negative to a more positive place using these tools, I've connected with the Universal Dream Team. So the first tool is appreciation. Very simple tool. You can do it anywhere, anytime. I have notebooks everywhere, and I like to write. So every day I write lists of appreciation. Sometimes it's a paragraph, sometimes it's 3 or 4 pages. Sometimes I do it once. Usually I do it twice. First thing in the morning and every night before I go to bed, I appreciate what's gone well in the world for me. But sometimes I might do it 20 times a day, depending on how fast I'm moving and how much is going on around me. But I write appreciation, and I always write until I find some relief or some better feeling place, and it always happens. And like I said earlier, every time I do it, I become inspired with a new idea. So that's the first tool, appreciation. Because our imagination's where we last left it, because when we think about certain subjects, we are thinking of them the way we've always thought of them, and we need to have a tool that will help us move those subjects to a new mental and emotional place so that we're closer to inspiration and the universal dream team. So that tool is a tool called the focus wheel. And basically what it does is it helps you take where you are and move yourself step by step to where you want to be. It just helps you focus. That's why it's called a focus wheel. I use a blank piece of paper and I write whatever I'm trying to achieve up at the top of the page, and it may be a subject, whatever the subject is, I write it up at the top of the page, and then I write blocks of thought around the edge of the page in circular fashion. So I'm writing things that I believe about that subject with the goal of focusing and feeling better, and I write in a spiral fashion until I get to the center of the page. Again, that's one of those things that if it's a subject I've worried about for a long time, I may need to do many focus wheels to move my mental and emotional state to a new place around that subject. I might just do one focus wheel. On the web page, there's a handout for you that shows you an example. I'll just review it real quick here. This is a picture of a focus wheel. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. I've got the goal at the top, and of course this is done on the computer, but I'm giving a Toastmaster speech and I'm nervous and I want to feel better about my speech. So I say I want to do a good job in my speech. That's my goal up at the top. So then I start writing thoughts. Here's what I wrote. I want to do this. Toastmasters is a great place to practice. The group there is so supportive. I do want to improve. If this were easy, everybody would be doing it. I feel good about my topic. I've practiced at home and that goes pretty well. I must practice to get better. This is the best place to practice. If I don't practice, how will I improve? I do want to do this. It's actually fun once I get started. All the performers, even famous people, get nervous. I've done a good job in the past. I've got time to practice more and I will. This is how you improve. Famous speakers started here too. I can do this. I want to do this. Do you notice as I'm talking how the energy starts to improve and you're going faster? You can feel kind of the momentum towards the goal. So the focus wheel is to move you from, say you're in some fear to some less fear. And then maybe you move in the second focus wheel to some hope and then more hope. And eventually you can move yourself into belief and knowing. So it is possible to focus our minds and focus our imagination. So Twain was right. You can't depend on your judgment when your imagination's out of focus. Meaning, we can't have access to clarity and being influential as we can be when we are scattered in our thoughts. But we can focus our thoughts. And there are two tools to help you that I use on a regular basis. I hope they'll help you: the appreciation and the focus wheel. You can be, do, or have anything that you want. We all can. And you have the Universal Dream Team to help you and tools to help you. All we have to do is line up our thoughts one at a time. Here's to waking up eager.